Hello and welcome to this week's guided reading with me, Becca Handley, for the 18th of October through to the 24th of October 2021. So we start the week with Mercury finally coming out of its retrograde period. So it might feel that things just are a bit more forward moving and less kind of heavy. Mercury retrograde is an intense time, often. It can really bring up some stuff that needs to be looked at. So if you felt like you've been having to revisit some old emotions, old frustrations, irritations, there'll be a bigger reason for that. And it's asking you to sort of really look at what is holding you back, what kind of things do you no longer want to really experience. Obviously, we can't dictate a completely challenge-free life, that's not the point, but if there's old sort of repetitive themes that have been coming up for you over these last 3 weeks, it might be something that is ready to be released. So it could be a time to start the week just looking at the things that came up for you over Mercury retrograde, and just do a little bit of sort of work around that to see what was trying to be communicated to you by your system and by the experiences you were having. The October full moon is this week. It's on Wednesday at about 5 to 4 Eastern time, GMT time. It's a full moon in Aries. It's known as the Hunter moon. That's one of its many names. So it's quite a strong, fiery energy. Aries is very sort of bold. It's takes risks. It's a fire sign. And obviously we're still in this kind of Libran, fairly sort of balanced, calmer zodiac signs. So they're very different energies. So just take care. This full moon is encouraging us to move forward now, and all the things that were sort of this sense of being held back. There is this forward moving energy, but it's about also being thoughtful and careful about the decisions you make and not being overly impetuous, and sort of not thinking things through, because there's a spontaneity to Aries, which is lovely and sort of playful, but it can mean that we leap before we think. So it's just something to be mindful of, is that if you're making decisions in this time, or you're wanting to go forward in your life on any level, think things through a little bit before you sort of charge ahead, like the Aries ram with the big curly horns. Okay, so I am using this pack today, the Saints and Angels Doreen Virtue pack, and I'm going to shuffle the cards, do a 3-card reading, as I do every week. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I just suddenly, wouldn't it be wonderful? There'd be nothing wonderful about me doing a 4-card reading. It'd just be different. Wonderful. Who do I think I am? Right, one's already popped out. There we go. Okay, so that'll be Monday, Tuesday then, and I'll cut the pack, see what comes out for the middle of the week. Okay, once again for the end of the week going into the weekend. Right, lovely. Let's see what we've got here. Them cards, they never lie, do they? So I was saying at the start of the week, it's maybe a good thing to sort of just think about the things that came up for you over that Mercury retrograde period. And here we have the Look Deeper card, which is an interesting one. I mean, the picture depicts a lady looking deeply into a pond. I think it's probably talking a little bit more, sort of a bit more on a bigger level there, although feel free to gaze into a pond if that's what you want to do. Let's get the little book out and have a look and see what it says. It says, you need to look beyond the surface of this situation, as there are important information that you're not currently aware of or haven't admitted to yourself. Your guardian angel will bring this to your attention. However, it requires you to be open-minded. So it's asking you to look maybe at your own life or a particular situation. It could be something to do with your career or a relationship. That's quite a sort of typical one that comes up in Mercury retrograde, looking at our relationships. And that's what the Libran sort of energy was about, the new moon. So it might be that there's some questions you need to ask yourself, or something you need to admit around that. Maybe some changes need to be made in your own behaviour, or an actual relationship needs to change in some way. So this it's a brave card, because it's asking you to sort of, be honest with yourself. And sometimes that can be a bit scary, because it means that things are going to change. But really, remember that if you're listening to your heart and your inner wisdom, the changes will be for the better in the long run. You're worth it. So that's our card for the start of the week. Moving into the middle of the week, I pulled out a very battered miracle card. I think I must have clutched this. Oh gosh, I must have clutched this one to my heart many a time. Give me a miracle, Christ. So yeah, these cards have lots of different sort of religious figures as well as more sort of spiritual figures. So you don't have to be religious. The meaning behind this card, this is Jesus, and it brings a message of yeah, a miracle, something positive shifting. So if you've had a difficult time, it's midweek, there could be a bit of a shift. Let's see what the card has to say. Oh, that's my little boy waking up on his monitor, if you heard that cough. We will carry on. I've started, so I'll finish. It says, Christ is with you and engendering a miracle for you in the situation you're asking about. He shines God's light upon you and your loved ones, keeping you safe and protected. You've asked for a miracle, and one is with you. Let go of how you think it should appear, as it comes directly from God's infinite wisdom into your life. So God is quite an emotive word. I know for many people, I don't necessarily use that word myself in the way I see the world, but for me, Great Spirit, that's the more sort of Native American way, it's, or higher power, whatever your higher power is to you. This is the message when they say God. So it's saying that, you know, try not to hold on too tightly to a situation's not working, or if something has been difficult, be open and sort of let go to something higher, shifting that for you. And I really do believe in miracles. I said it before in my readings. I've had times in my life, situations rather, where I just feel like this can't go on anymore. And then just when you sort of feel like, oh, you have that sort of moment of just like, okay, I've just got to let go, and then shifts happen. So if there's something that's been really troubling you or causing you frustration or difficulty, this card is suggesting that maybe some shifts are about to happen, but we have to be willing to let go. So even if you just visualize yourself sort of letting go of the problem, the energy of the problem, saying a little prayer maybe, anything that helps you sort of connect to that higher energy will allow the healing and the miracle to take place. Okay, so that's a nice one for the middle of the week. And then for the end of the week, going into the weekend, sleep. So yeah, I mean, we've had a big shift, haven't we, into autumn if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and obviously you're going into spring if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. So these seasonal shifts are quite demanding on our systems. We've also just been through Mercury retrograde, which can be quite an intense time, can bring up frustrations. So allow yourself to rest. The energies are strong at the moment. We've got this big full moon, as I said, in the middle of the week, and it's really important that we do allow ourselves to rest and recharge when and where we can. I know it's not always easy if you have maybe small children or a stressful job, but even just a sort of little doze somewhere, closing your eyes or just sort of switching your devices off and just having a switch off, even for 20 minutes, is really powerful sort of to reboot your system. So I'm just grabbing the book here. It says, take a look at the topic of sleep in answer to your question. Most likely this is a message for you to get more rest. Cut unnecessary activities from your schedule to get a good night's sleep. So it's talking about emotional, there's some emotional upsets that can affect our sleep. So maybe it's about getting some support, some therapeutic support, maybe keeping a journal. I'm going to do some video on some exercises for the vagus nerve, which is the main nerve of the nervous system that runs right straight from the brain right throughout down to the base of the back, and can affect all sorts of things if it's not. It's the main nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. So the more we can kind of tone and relax that nerve, the more we're going to get better night's sleeps, better digestion, less anxiety. So this is really an idea, a card, a message of trying to release stress out of your system where you can. We are really transforming. So many of us on this journey are energetically transforming. We're clearing old stuff, which we seem to have done for many, many moons now. But the sleep is really important. It's a way for our bodies to reset. It's a way for our spirit guides to communicate messages to us, or our higher wisdom to contact us. It's really, really important that we try and get a good night's sleep. It's also, the message here is about getting rid of chemicals or allergens in your bedroom, trying to block out artificial light, maybe not having too many stimulants in your day, such as caffeine, sugar, nicotine, chocolate. Oh, don't want to ask one. I think a little bit of chocolate is very good for the soul. Taking frequent meditation breaks, even 2 minutes of closing your eyes, taking deep breaths and holding positive thoughts will help. So again, it's not saying we have to have a perfect night's sleep, but there's little things that we can do just to sort of switch off, particularly if you're having lots of heavy thoughts or difficult emotions, just coming back to the breath. Really powerful tool. So this is a bit of a long one today, so I'm going to draw it to a close. I'm going to wish you a lovely week ahead. Take care. Try and find some time to celebrate as well over the full moon. It's also a time of celebration. So put your favourite song on, have a good old boogie around the kitchen if you can't get out and have a bigger party with friends. All right, take care. Thank you very much for joining me. See you next week.